Studies have shown that people going through relationship loss have physical pain. And in one really interesting and important study, colleagues of mine put people who had been romantically rejected, going through relationship dissolution, into an fMRI brain scanner. And what they found in those studies is that the brain looks remarkably like someone going through cocaine withdrawal. So when we think about the intensity of pulling those bonds away, we have physical pain, we have craving. Most of us would not say to someone going through drug withdrawal, oh, just get over it, you'll be fine. But for some reason, we think that in relationships, that's good advice. But in fact, that's not how the brain is processing the loss of those intense love bonds. So I think there's a lot we can learn about being a bit more kind, both to ourselves and unintentionally to others, that when we go through relationship loss, it's a whole body experience. It involves our physiology, our brains, our psychology, our social networks start to change. The people that you may have relied on social support start to look different. And we all respond differently. In one of the studies in my lab, we've been looking at how people go through breakups. And what's so interesting to me is that people vary, and sometimes the same people vary in different breakups. So one time they maybe abuse alcohol and drugs, or they have depression, or they're just fine, or they go have 3 new sexual partners that week, or they, don't talk to anyone for weeks. We have these diverse ways that we try and handle this grief. I think the biggest lesson from the science is we need compassion for ourselves when we go through it, but also the people around us.
Florence, articulate for people who might be in the midst of a heartbreak right now, what were, in addition to anxiety, some of the things you physically experienced so they might feel like, okay, I'm not alone. That's actually heartbreak.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's this sense, we haven't really talked about loneliness, that there's this feeling of, I am going through this singular event.
Right.
Most of my friends, maybe they've gone through heartbreak once in their lives, but they're not going through it right now with me. And we know that there are some, physical symptoms of loneliness, where it might look like depression. Again, it might look like anxiety because you don't feel like you have your sort of support or your safety that you're used to. I think it's really important to know too that when people are lonely, and studies show this, sometimes they act in sort of counterintuitive ways where they actually withdraw even more, or where they're a little bit more suspicious, that people are out to get them, or that the world is an unfriendly place. Now, those are all downstream effects of sort of feeling like you're alone in the world. And so I think it's really important and this is true whether you've lost a job too. There's this kind of a loneliness quality to that. And also that you may be going through something that's kind of unique or that feels unique. And so people, they need you to draw them out, to kind of boost their self-esteem in some ways. If they say no, they don't want to do something, maybe push them a little bit harder. Just try a little bit harder to sort of penetrate maybe some of that kind of curtain that feels like it's closing around them.